Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. So quick video today. I'm going to run through Battersea Park. I'm only going to do a very slow sort of 5k I would imagine by the end. And yeah, I'm going to talk about the Adidas EVO SL, which I've now got to 100 miles. So I'm going to do a look back at the shoe and how it's been over that period of time. I'm doing helicopters for me, hopefully not. Yeah, and how I've grown to love this shoe. And it's, well, I didn't really grow to love it, I instantly loved it, and how it's become one of the first shoes I've looked to you know, when I'm doing a run where I need something to make me feel good while I run. It's one of the first shoes I look to these days. So we'll talk through the shoe, also talk through just some general stuff around running, you know, so just stand by for the usual Ed Rios rhetoric. Yeah, I hope you're all well, and yeah, I should show you the shoes. Absolute stunning beauties they are. Okay, so here I am in Battersea Park, and as you would have heard from the intro, I've got my Adidas EVO SLs on again. Sorry about that. I've actually done over 100 miles of them now, which is why I wanted to do this video. Be a short one, but it's my video of appreciation towards this shoe. I have to admit, I ummed and ahed about getting this shoe. I already just got the Neo Zen, which I really liked, and I thought at the time, do I really need this as well? And actually it's become a very different shoe than Neo Zen, and one which I've reached for more than the Neo Zen, to be honest. I'm kind of glad I waited though, because I ended up with a different colorway, which was cool. Right, I have to go this way because I'm blocked off that way. So I ended up with a silver and grey colorway, which I really like. And actually, I think the time that I got it was perfect, just before London, so I could do the last few kind of training runs for London in these shoes to get a good idea of you know, how they performed. And to be honest with you, I really like them. I think instantly I kind of fell in love with the shoe, and for these reasons. So first and foremost, they look great. So a superficial kind of guy that I am, means that I want something that looks all right. Look at this, all these fans. Must be some kind of event here. I have to check what that is. If you look over here, see they're cordoned some area off. Interesting. Better move in case I get arrested. A policeman was looking right back at me then. Anyway, he'll have to catch me, won't he? But yeah, so straight away I love the look of them. Adidas have nailed it, really nailed it with the look of their shoes. The Pro looks great as well. All their shoes look great, to be honest. Be interesting to see what the Prime X Strung 3 looks like. I know we've seen images of it already, but actually when you actually get it in your hands and put it on your feet, it can transform a shoe completely from the images that you see. But it looks kind of wild, as you would expect, but pretty cool also. But going back to the EVO SL in a minute, the other thing I really like about it, for a forefoot striker like me, as soon as I land on the forefoot, it throws me a little bit forward. Nothing too wild, but I get that nice roll which you don't often get with daily trainers, mainly because their geometry is different, but also they haven't got the race foam that this has got, and the Lightstrike Pro that was in the Pro 3, which is kind of firm and dense, but really lovely. Got a nice ping to it in a good way. So straight away, I love the way the geometry works in this shoe. For me, as a forefoot striker, I just kind of ping off the ground and it rolls me forward. I remember, I think it was Tim Gross was saying didn't like that kind of curved feeling he gets when he lands. I'm sure if he was talking about this or the Pro 4, Adidas Pro 4, but for me, I love it actually. So it shows how different runners can like different geometries in shoes. I love the fact that it's not a kind of flat feeling when I land. In fact, I generally really don't like shoes where when I land it feels too flat. I like that rolling sensation and that geometry that almost feels like I'm landing on a curve, if you know what I mean. So I'm pretty okay with the instability that brings, because it more than makes up for it in terms of performance for me. I like to be tipped forward when I run. That's the way I like it. But I appreciate that's not for everyone. So the geometry really works for me, and as I mentioned, the foam itself is top notch. For those of you that like the Pro 3, and there's a lot of fans of the Pro 3, you'll really like this shoe. The other thing I like about this shoe is the versatility. So I've been on slow runs in this shoe, absolutely fine. I've been on long runs, good 20k plus, absolutely fine. I've been fast in this shoe, absolutely fine. And I've been, I could even race in this shoe, if I'm being honest, and it would be absolutely fine. So I've said a lot of absolutely fines there. I'm underselling it really. It's incredible the feeling you get in this shoe, and it's incredible to have that versatility in one shoe. Without a doubt, I could race in this shoe, and at some point I'll definitely do a park run in it. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to try that and really go for it and see, actually, do people actually need a plate in their shoes to be effective over kind of the 5k distance. I'm not sure 100% that you do, but you need a pretty good shoe if you don't have a plate, and this would be one of the few that I would attempt that in. I know the Hoka Mach X2 has got a nylon plate, but it's not got a carbon plate. I would potentially race in that shoe as well, but not too many others. And that just shows you again how unique these shoes are, how versatile they are. Shoes that you can go slow in, shoes that you can go reasonable pace, and shoes that you can race in, all in one shoe. And so some people will quote the Superblast at me as another option, Superblast 2. I don't find that as a shoe I'd want to race in, if I'm being honest. I'd much prefer this or the Mach X2 for racing. The other amazing thing with this shoe is how light it is. You put it on your feet and you hardly notice it, the weight. Really nice and light, and that's where it has a little bit of an advantage over the Mach X2, think it's a good 20 grams heavier than this shoe. That's kind of rare to have a daily trainer this light. And also the price point, £135, is it, or £130? Such a good value for a shoe that can do it all. You kind of almost to the point wonder how Adidas are making money on this shoe, but I guess they are because of how popular it is. But they really did well with the price point. Gave everyone a shoe that is affordable. I know it's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's affordable for most people who want to buy a running shoe with it in mind that you're going to pay a bit extra for running shoes, right? So I feel like the price kind of it's justified by how good the shoe is, right? So that's another thing, price. I think I could go on and on, but as we're talking about 100-mile reviews here, I've been remiss not to talk about durability, which has been fantastic as well. I don't see many marks on the undersole that I need to worry about. It's just the silver paint that's wearing off on the outsole, sorry. So that side of things, as I thought it would be actually, because again, that Lightstrike Pro that's in the Pro 3, we know how wearable that is. We've seen it in the Pro 3, we've seen it in the Prime X Strung. It's really wearable and good durability, so it doesn't surprise me. But Adidas, given the price point, could have skimped on certain things, which would mean that it would be less durable than expected, but they haven't. And so it's a really solid effort by them to produce something this durable. So with all that in mind, it really is the shoe of the year so far for me, and I really struggle to see how any other shoe, unless another version of this comes out, will be able to compete. Even the Hoka Mach X3, I think, is bound to be 30 or 40 pounds more expensive than this, and I don't think it'll be 30 or 40 pounds better than this, to be honest with you. I struggle to believe that. Anyway, they're my views. What else to talk about? Well, one thing, so I'm having to go into work now 4 times a week instead of 1. It's a bit of a swing. So I'll be doing a lot more reviews from Battersea rather than at home, but I think I'll also be running into work a little bit, so you get to see a more varied landscape, let's say, in my videos, which is kind of cool for you, maybe not so good for me, but it's been a long time coming. I've enjoyed the remote working. It's just, I knew that it wouldn't be forever unless I change jobs, which has crossed my mind. But anyway, the point is, expect videos to be a bit different. We'll see if I'm able to keep up the frequency of them. Hopefully I will. Just means I need to organise myself a little bit better than I currently do, use my time more effectively, and I guess that is a good point, really, that where you have challenges in life like this, things change, right? Rather than be defeated, look for ways round difficulties, you know. So for me, I can do my videos running into the office. I can get up a bit earlier. I can work my way around this new change for me, and what might come with it is actually positive, better videos, you know, more variety in the videos. I can show you different coffee stops as I go for a morning coffee en route. Maybe there's something there, right? So expect in many ways the videos to become a bit more interesting. I was conscious that just running around my local park could get a bit boring for you guys, so that's been forced out of my hands, to be honest. So I don't mind. But I guess the lesson, just to summarise and hang up then, is when you're forced to make changes in your life, it's not always bad things, and some changes, although they can be perceived as negatives, you can actually make a positive out of them if you actually if you're creative with your thinking, like I'm going to have to be. And Adidas were definitely creative when they came up with the EVO SL, looking at the actual SL and seeing how can we make a daily trainer that has some of the characteristics of this ridiculously priced racing shoe. And I salute Adidas for doing that. They've obviously thought about how most of us can't afford the Evo, so they've given us the next best thing, and for that I'm eternally grateful. I'll see you later. Bye bye.
Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable, hope you're well. Today's video is going to be all about the Adidas EVO SL. So I bought this about 2 months ago. I actually ran with it for the first time in Berlin. I was meant to do a half marathon there, but I actually ended up messing up the booking, or somebody did, so I didn't actually run the half marathon. But it was my first exposure to this shoe, and since then I've gone on to run over 100 miles. So I thought I'd give you a quick update on how this shoe's performed over those 100 miles and the wear and tear. But first and foremost, for those of you that know nothing about this shoe, this is Adidas's Super Daily Trainer. It's got this amazing Lightstrike Pro foam in it. It's the same foam you get on the Adidas Pro 3. It doesn't have a carbon plate. It does have a shank plate, which is a small plate that runs along the midfoot to give stability. So a lot of people have said this is plateless. Well, technically it's carbon plateless, but it does have a small plastic plate just to add to the stability of the shoe. But by and large, what you see here is a big slab of Lightstrike Pro, the original version that was on the Adidas Pro 3, not the new version, the softer version that's on the Pro 4. In terms of specifics, You've got, in my UK size 9, I've got a weight of 236 grams. I've just weighed them again. That's what it is at the moment. It's a super light daily trainer. You've got a stack height of around 38 millimeters in the heel. Feels bigger than that actually, but yeah, that's what the measurements say, 38. And it's a 6 millimeter drop, or there or thereabouts. So you've got 32 in the forefoot. And it feels really nice and cushioned when you land on the forefoot. And as we'll go on to talk about the geometry of the shoe, it's got a really nice, as you can see, early stage rocker there. And that's based on the racing shoe, the Evo, you know, the £499 shoe that nobody has, or at least I don't, and I'm sure most of you haven't. It's based on that in terms of the geometry of the shoe, and that's part of the magic that the shoe supplies. In terms of, so they're the key stats. In terms of the wear and tear, you can see on the sole, it's got a lot of scuffing, but actually the key areas, the key rubber areas have stayed intact. The foam itself, it feels like exactly the same as the first minute that I put this on. In fact, it actually feels a bit nicer because it's broken in a little bit. Those that have had the Adidas Pro 3 and Prime X Strung, those racing shoes know that this foam, this Lightstrike Pro foam, not the new one as I mentioned before, takes a bit of breaking in, but once you break it in, it feels absolutely lovely even, and it's very durable. As I'm finding over the 100 miles, it's really not degraded whatsoever, this shoe. The upper, you know, it's slightly dirty, but actually it's kept itself together. I've had none of this, these bands, the Adidas bands, coming off at all, which I've seen other people have. So for me, the upper has remained intact. It's a really nice lightweight upper, which is really comfortable. It's got really nice volume in the forefoot for my wider foot. And you know, those that have got like bigger toes like me, you'll be finding this shoe because you get a huge, like I said, huge amount of volume here. It's a really comfortable shoe. But that said, that's not where the magic lies in this shoe, and it certainly doesn't lie in the laces either, which are pretty terrible. The tongue could be improved, but the lockdown is superb. You get a really nice lockdown with nice padding in the heel collar and a semi-rigid heel counter. But the magic is in the midsole in this shoe. It's a pretty good outsole, but the midsole where the magic is, and the geometry. So this foam, as we all know, is absolutely fantastic. But what makes this shoe is the geometry in that early stage rocker. For people like me who land around about here somewhere, as soon as I land, I'm feeling that curvature and it's throwing me forward, but not throwing me in a ridiculous sense like you get with some super racing shoes, but just nicely tipping me forward, and it feels effortless to run in this shoe. I find this is probably the first shoe now I look to for when I'm, you know, I'm just thinking I just want a shoe that's going to be comfortable, that's going to give me something back on this run, one that's not going to be too extreme with a ridiculous bounce. This is the first shoe I put on. I like the Cielo X1 as well, the original. That's nice and bouncy. That's a little bit more bouncy. If I want something a little bit more stable than that shoe, and when I mean stable, I mean as in like less of a bounce, less throw me forward, I would go with this shoe because it's just got that really nice rocker geometry, and I can go slow in this shoe, I can up the pace, I could even race in this shoe, and that's why the magic of this shoe is that it's so versatile. It's by far and away my favourite daily trainer ever. It absolutely puts the Superblast 5 in the shade, because the Superblast 5, don't get me wrong, is a really lovely shoe, but it doesn't have this geometry, and it doesn't keep me flowing forward like this shoe, and the foam in this shoe is just so much better than the Superblast. It's firmer, it's more responsive, I get more energy return. You know, Superblast 5 was pretty much my favourite daily trainer last year, and this has gone on to take it up another level. You know, and you know, in terms of daily trainers, I can't see how this will be beaten this year. So if we summarise, we've got a shoe here that's remained pretty much intact over 100 miles. You've got some creasing, as you'd expect, in the foam in the midfoot. You've got some scuffing in the outsole, but the key rubber areas have remained intact. No issue there. You've got the upper bit dirty, but again remain intact. I've had no issues whatsoever with the upper. So you've got a very durable shoe here that, you know, it just eats up the miles. I am going to race in this shoe at some point. I just want to see whether this shoe can actually hang with the big boys, because I have a sneaking suspicion it was not far off. You know, if I do a part run in this, I don't think I'll be a million miles away from my normal sort of sub 18 times. It would be close. But all in all, yeah, absolutely fantastic shoe. I can't really fault it. The only thing I can fault it is the laces, really, and maybe the tongue could be slightly, you know, it moves around a little bit, but the tongue isn't actually that bad. If it was gusseted, maybe it would be better. It's just the laces. Other than that, there is not another daily trainer out there, particularly at this price point of £130, that can get anywhere near this shoe. There are some competitors like the Mach X2, and you might get a little bit more pop in that shoe. But I think generally this is a more versatile shoe. It's cheaper by about £30. Bit of a nicer upper as well. A lot of people have had issues with that Mach X2 upper, particularly in the heel area. So in terms of the competition, I think this is, like I said, got all the competition in the shade. I'm definitely going to buy another pair of these when these get a bit more worn out. The actual look and feel of the shoe as well is absolutely fantastic. Look, I mean, you've got a shoe here. I've just worn these to the gym and nobody bats an eyelid. If I wear any of my other crazy running shoes, everyone like comes up and has a chat and says, "You're right, Ed." But this one, everyone, well, when I say they don't bat an eyelid, I get some admiring glances at this because it's such a nice looking shoe. So all in all, that's what I think about this shoe. So in the comments, why don't you let me know if you've got this shoe, how it's doing for you, if you've been using it a lot. Like I said, for me, it's the first shoe I put on when I'm thinking about a shoe. I want the shoe to do a bit of work for me. I want it to be nice and comfortable, and I want a shoe that I just, you know, that my legs and feet love. This is the first shoe that I put on now. And no wonder it's got to 100 miles that quick. In fact, I'm surprised it didn't get there quicker, and it would have done if I didn't have those darn marathons getting in the way. But let me know in the comments what you think of this shoe. Those that haven't got it, is this inspiring you to get it? Remember, it's £130, so it's not ridiculously priced, and there's lots of different colourways for people who like, you know, the different colours that this comes in. I mean, I absolutely love this colourway. To be honest, I'm glad I picked this one. That's all I want to say today. Hopefully you found that useful. I'll be hopefully doing a part run tomorrow. Maybe do a last run in the Puma, and then for a while last race. So I might pick a quick part run and really put it through its paces. I think so far I've run in it. I've done a half marathon in Hackney. I don't think that's the quickest half marathon. I did the part run in Sheffield. I definitely know that's not the quickest part run. If you've not watched that video, watch it and you'll realise why. And I've, you know, I've run various distances, a 10k in Hampton Court, which I know is not the fastest 10k. So I'd really like to take it to a really quick part run and compare it over 5k to my other racing shoes. I think that Puma Fast R Nitro Elite 3 could be my fastest shoe, but I'm not sure yet. Anyway, that's all I want to say today. I'm digressing a bit. Stand by for the part run footage, hopefully tomorrow or Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Have a great weekend, everyone. Love you all. Bye bye.